Oh, I don't know what was going on there. Hi, everybody. Let me just make sure everyone that we have sound. Do we have sound? Hold on. Check. One, two. I think we have sound. Do we have sound? Now we can hear you. Okay, great. Welcome to a mobile edition of Crime Time with DutyRon. Guys and girls, I'm a retired New York City police detective with 20 years of law enforcement. If you like all things true crime related from the police detective's perspective, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you'll get all things DutyRon. And guess what? Guess what? Ed Wallace is coming back tomorrow. Not tomorrow during the day, but tomorrow night, I think, sometime into Saturday. So Ed Wallace will be back on U.S. soil from Indonesia, and I talked to him earlier this morning on my time. So hopefully he'll be back on U.S. soil on the weekend. So I'm looking forward to that. I want to say a special thank you to you guys, the replay viewers, the Patreon supporters, the channel members, and everybody who positively engages with us, and all the people who mentioned. We have thanks to Josh, we have Ed Wallace, Duty Ron, and Chat. We have all the stockings hanging up with the Christmas lights. That's our way of, sending acknowledgement to you guys, the viewers. We give thanks and praise to each and every one of you, and I hope you guys enjoyed the special that we did 2 nights ago with Jennifer Koffendorfer and our special guest from the University of Idaho, a previous student. Grant was a great insight for us to see and hear about how college life is over there. So I hope you guys watched that replay. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Personal safety is a very big thing to talk about. But this video, we're going to be talking about how difficult will it be for the Moscow Police Department. The Moscow Police Department, a small department, being supplemented by, thank God, the FBI, the state police. I'm submitting to you the question, how difficult will it be for the Moscow Police Department to find a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra, white in color? There's over 22,000 of these vehicles, white in color, registered in the state of Idaho. Listen, Idaho borders 6 different states, right? It borders Washington and Oregon on the north, and then you've got Montana, Utah, Wyoming, and Nevada. Nevada being down south and west, but it's 6 states that border this the state of Idaho. I mean, to me, it looks and sounds like a very difficult task at best. But I'm going to bring in tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time our auto crime expert, Tommy, Detective Tom from the NYPD's Auto Crime Division. He knows everything about vehicle forensics. So I'm going to have Tommy come on again. Those of you who are new, you might not remember him, but he came on and spoke with us in regards to a bunch of different cases that we've covered in the past. And he came on and gave us some of his expertise. He knows everything about onboard diagnostics. I'm going to also talk to him about the tire tracks. Remember, Ed Wallace and we covered the crime scene investigators from the state of Idaho. Remember, the female crime scene investigators were drawing and taking photos and mapping the tire tracks in front of the murder scene, out in front of the King Road murder scene. Well, I'm hoping that I'm hoping that the tire tracks that were left out in front of that crime scene somehow intertwined back into this 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. And that's an interesting thing and an interesting thought to think about. I don't know how many of us here, by a show of hands in the chat, how many in the chat remember those crime scene videos that Ed Wallace and I talked about and we dissected and broke down? And Ed even went as far as talking about how they measure and how they take impressions and how they can match things up. So Josh, if you could play the first video for me real quick, I want you guys to listen. This is over 7 days ago. They started looking for this white Hyundai Elantra. So this is from 7 days ago. I want you guys to hear and listen to this breaking news. Thank you, Josh.
And breaking
This
news
is not
into
breaking news
in the
now, but it's from
investigation into
7
the
days ago.
murders of the 4 University of Idaho students. Detectives announced just minutes ago that they are interested in talking to the person or people in a white 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra.
Yeah, they don't have a
It's an
license plate
Elantra.
number. That's an Elantra, but you're looking at a stock photo of the type of car they are looking for. Moscow police say the car was near the home where 3 of the students lived during the early morning hours of November 13th. That's the day the bodies of the 4 students, Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, Madison Mogen, and Kaylee Goncalves, were discovered.
Moscow police say the person or people in that car may have critical information regarding the case. They're asking anyone with information about the car or who was driving it on either the day of or day before the murders to call their tip line at the number. We have that information at ktvb.com.
Thank you for that, Josh. Yeah, so
This morning,
here we are still 7 days plus later talking about the white Hyundai Elantra. Brenda, thank you so much for becoming a member. Appreciate you, and thank you for all your support. A lot of people are up in arms and talking about how come over 4 weeks later and the Moscow Police Department are still scurrying to get video. All right. I spoke about this early on, I think day 2 on our coverage on this case. On my very second the second video that Ed and I did on this case, we immediately said that the businesses surrounding the grub truck where the grub truck video was taken, and all business that are surrounding that area in a 3 to 5 mile perimeter, any businesses in the 3 to 5 mile perimeter should be canvassed by detectives immediately. And we said this is documented on our video. It's investigation 101. And if you are shorthanded and you have according to the police chief and the police captain, they reached out to the Idaho State Police immediately. Okay, Idaho State Police have a tremendous amount of resources. I'm talking about police officers, detectives, investigators, and so forth. The governor of the state of Idaho threw $1 million at this thing. So within the first day to day 2 or day 3, you should have detectives assigned to canvassing local businesses. The businesses there and the local cameras and so forth are not plentiful, but you need to go out in a timely fashion and go and collect the any and all video, because look, video camera footage is only as good as the DVR that it's attached to. And if it doesn't go to a cloud and stay somewhere in a cloud like the Ring video doorbells do if you pay for the subscription, if it's a DVR based IP camera system, which most businesses are, it's 30 days maximum, unless you buy a really supersonic DVR. That's the actual machine that holds the recordings. Some of them are just 2 weeks, and some of them are just a very short period of time. So again, at the end of the day, that is something that should have been done, and it's up to the commanders who are in charge of this investigation. You have to take your personnel and say, okay, we need personnel to investigate and do interviews. We need personnel to follow up on leads, but we also need people out in the field collecting this evidence. The DOT cameras, okay, those are good because the DOT cameras most of the time are going to a data center and they're not getting overwritten. So most of the Department of Transportation cameras, we're okay with those, and those are plentiful in Moscow as well. There's a lot of Department of Transportation cameras, so that's a good thing. But when it comes to this vehicle, you have the resources of the Department of Motor Vehicle, the DMV. So Josh, I want you to play the second video because I know you got to run. Let's just play the second video, and this is going to be about the parents' frustration and all of the things that are going on. This is Brian Enton from News Nation, and this was from yesterday. So we're just going to play this real quick and let this roll.
New this morning, reports are surfacing of a white Hyundai Elantra speeding by a gas station on the night 4 University of Idaho students were murdered. Police in Moscow looking to speak with the driver of that car.
As more time passes without an arrest, we are learning new details about the morning police received a call about the murders. Senior national correspondent Brian Enton is in Moscow, Idaho.
Police are now talking more about what the scene was like when they first arrived after the murders. For the first time, we're also talking to the attorney representing Kaylee Goncalves' family, and he's talking more about the victim's family relationship with the police. It is eerily quiet at the University of Idaho. With graduation over and most finals moved online, there are almost no students on campus. 1 month after the brutal murder of 4 students, and their families are anxious for any information. Victim Kaylee Goncalves' parents met with the investigators just yesterday, according to their attorney. Have you or the family received any new updates on the investigation?
Well, part of our delay was we met with the investigators yesterday. The theme of the meeting was 2 things, was accountability and communication.
Attorney Shannon Gray says the family wants a more consistent stream of information from police. He says most of their questions about the investigation have still gone unanswered, but they are hopeful police are doing the right things. New Tuesday, Moscow police released a video with new information about what happened soon after they got the initial call.
I got called at home. It was on a Sunday afternoon, and it took me a second. I really had to think about what I had just heard.
Moscow Police Captain Roger Lanier says it was a somber scene when police arrived.
It was incredibly hard for the community, but it was also really, really hard on our officers, some of whom were very young, and that was the first real major crime scene that they had encountered. So emotionally, it was a very, very draining day.
Police maintain they have information they are not releasing, but they say they still have no suspect and continue to ask people with information on a white Hyundai Elantra seen near the house the morning of the murders to contact investigators. One question that I've been asked over and over again is why no reward? I mean, in other cases, we'll see a big reward. It makes people come out and talk. Why no reward here?
We've been so successful and really can thank the community and the public for all the tips they are providing us. A reward maybe is an option down the road, but we have such good information from the public as we are right now. We're working with that first.
Police also concerned about all the rumors on social media. They say that those rumors are bogging down the investigation, leading to tips that really have nothing to do with anything. They even say there's people from social media who have reached out to individuals involved in the case, and there have even been death threats. Adrian.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com.
Thank you, Josh. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for sharing the bits of media for me, Josh. I greatly appreciate you. Again, on the outside, this seems like a lot of confusion, but at the same time, we do not know exactly what's going on with the case structure, with the investigation structure. So it's easy for us to point fingers at it. We'll look at some of the cases that we've covered. Look at Harmony Montgomery. Look at the boys from California, Orrin and Orson West, Sincere and Classic. It took over a year to make an arrest. Those 2 boys, those 2 little baby boys, were murdered by their adoptive parents, by Trezell and Jacqueline West. It took the Bakersfield Police Department 1 whole year to bring 2 baby killers to justice, and it frustrated the heck out of all of us. So again, we're a month into this quadruple homicide, and we have to say to ourselves, wait a minute. It took the investigators a really long time. Look at Harmony Montgomery. Look at what happened with Quentin Simon. You know, we have a 19-count indictment that took over a month, 2 months for the investigators at the Chatham County Sheriff's Department to make the lawful arrests and bring justice. And that's the thing that we always hear with all of these cases is we need to have, as investigators, the police, the lead detectives, FBI, and everyone supplementing. You need to have everything in place so you can have a lawful arrest of a perpetrator, and you need to be able to get a true bill indictment, which they just got against Leilani, Quentin Simon's mom. To get that 19-count true bill indictment against her, took a lot of evidence and a lot of things to be put in place before it happened. So you need to have a successful prosecution. It's not just about dragging somebody in that you suspect has committed the crime. You need to have concrete evidence beyond a reasonable doubt that a jury, not only a grand jury, but a jury at trial will find this person guilty of the crime. So you cannot just rush to quick judgment and do that. All right. So you need to be able to put that nail in the coffin, so to speak. So yeah, thank you for that. Hey Jude, she said, right. You need to hammer the right nail. It's a very correct statement. But unfortunately, us as human beings, we look at that and we say, no, 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 no. They solve these cases in 48 hours or less. I see it in an hour on some of my favorite crime shows on TV, CSI and so forth. That's not reality. That's not reality. And you need to understand that they have to put everything together, all the evidence, all of the facts need to be put together, and you need to go and get your suspects or subjects and place them under arrest and get the indictment and get the guilty verdict at trial. All right. I want to just say this quick. Yeah, there was a sale. I have 4 cars at home. So hold on a second. That was a very good thing. Who put that there? Hold on. I got to find it. Daryl Smith. Was there a sale on windshield washer fluid? Yes. I went to Home Depot and picked up those jugs just yesterday. So we have 4 cars at home. So the winter season is coming and I need to be prepared with my my winter washer fluid. So thank you for that. Appreciate your spidey sense and your detective skills. So that was pretty cool. Yeah, they're back here. Let me grab one. Hold on. Don't ever be without it. De-icing and the Rain-X. Don't ever be without it. So I picked them up at Home Depot. I ordered it online and then I went and picked them up. So all right. No, they're not gonna leak. They're sealed really good, and I just picked them up. So I'm take them out of the car and put them in my garage. All right, so let's get back to this. Tonight at 8 p.m., we're gonna have auto crime specialist Tommy from the NYPD Auto Crime. Detective Tom is gonna come on with us tonight at 8 p.m. and he is going to tell us under no uncertain terms, under no uncertain terms, what what can be extracted from the DMV records. How much can actually Hyundai Motors America, how much can Blue Link? The Blue Link is what's here in the vehicle when you get stuck on the side of the road. It's a roadside assistance. And in my vehicle, it's here on my it's here on my mirror. But some of the vehicles, if it's a very basic Hyundai Elantra, like not at a limited edition, not a sport edition, if it's the very introductory low line model, it's not going to have any of that Blue Link in it. But we're going to talk to Tommy. We're going to ask him about what, in fact, can be extracted from a 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra. And it's going to vary because the models, like I said, a limited edition is going to have all the bells and whistles. But what we need to know is how difficult is this process going to be? Getting and finding that exact Hyundai Elantra that drove past that gas station at 3:45. Don't forget, they have estimated that the murders, the quadruple murders, happened in between that time period of 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. And I think to us, and then we don't have access to the case file, but what I see is the reason they come up with that is the last communication with um, the girls texting the ex-boyfriend. So that is where that time frame comes in. It stopped at 2:50 something, so it's close to 3. So they just based it between 3 a.m. and 4 a.m. Based on that one factor and probably others that we don't know about. So it is what it is, folks. And I think that it's important that we know what the capabilities are. What can law enforcement, what can the Idaho State Police, don't forget, the Department of Motor Vehicle is a state-run agency, and every state, New York State DMV, New Jersey DMV, Idaho DMV, it's ran by the state. And the state here, police, work for the governor, right? The state police work for the governor, and the Department of Motor Vehicle, the state is going to be able to get right into the motor vehicles. They're going to look at all the registered owners of all the Hyundais in not only just the Moscow, Idaho area, but they're going to look into the surrounding states. They're going to look at Washington and Oregon and everything in that close vicinity. But they're also going to expand it out to Montana and Utah and Wyoming and Nevada. So these 6 different states are going to be where the Department of Motor Vehicle comes into play. And the Department of Transportation's video cameras, the DOT, the mounted cameras at some of these red lights that we see, not the red light cameras, but they're at poles at major intersections. They're going to be coming into play, and they're going to be looking at that as well. And we don't even fully know exactly how the Moscow Police Department came up with this white car. It certainly wasn't from the gas station video, because they put out a request for this, anybody with information or anybody with video, 7 days ago or more, right? So 7 days or more, they were asking about this white 2011 to 2013 Hyundai. So it's something that was on their radar, not because of the video from the gas station. Listen, we can argue, why did it take them over a month to go to that gas station? Why did that gas station overnight attendant have to be the responsible party to go and find this footage? Why weren't they at that gas station before this girl that she said she was bored on her overnight shift? She was bored and was looking through the footage for hours of footage. Why did it take a civilian to find the footage and give it over? Why weren't they at that gas station in those 4 weeks that would led up to this? And again, I circle back to Command Central. Whoever's in charge and is running this investigation has to delegate authority. And the delegate authority, I've been involved in so many homicide investigations where we, as the Fugitive Enforcement Division, we supplemented homicide investigations continuously in the New York City Police Department. And when we would come onto a case as a supplemental detective support staff, we were issued assignments. Okay, Detective Licardi, you and your squad, you're going to work these 5 blocks, and you're going to knock on everyone's door and ask them certain questions. We want to know certain questions about this murder scene. So again, the FBI is not in charge of the investigation and putting together the structure. It's the Moscow Police Department. The Moscow Police Department are the lead agency because it happened in their jurisdiction. The FBI cannot take over this investigation because it's not in their jurisdiction. They will supplement them. They will help them. The state police, it's their state. So they can, if they want to, step in and take over the investigation. But most state police are not going to step on another department unless they show that they are completely incompetent. So the state police can come in and take over an investigation. Okay, I've never seen it in New York City because the NYPD, 40,000 or so, 35 to 40,000 members, and a very competent police force. I do not think that that's going to be the case here. But what I'm saying is whoever's in charge of the investigation, they have to delegate the assignments out. And if they say, okay, we have 40 state police, we have 50 FBI agents, we need to take a team and send them out to the businesses. And there's not an overload of businesses in Moscow. It's not like they have shopping malls and things of that nature. You're looking at, you know, any of the things along the route: gas stations, convenience stores, liquor stores, um, uh, whatever, you know, nail places and so forth and things of that nature. Go over to these businesses, right, and grab the footage. Go into these businesses with your notepad. Go in with your notepad and say, okay, um, here's the square area that these 5 or 3 detectives are going to work, and you're going to go to every business in this area. You other detectives are going to go to this, and that's how it's done. That's how it should have been done. That's what should have been done from the get-go. I get that you're going to put a lot of resources in the crime scene, at the crime scene, and then working from inside the crime scene, working your way out. That whole crime scene, it doesn't take 20 detectives to work a crime scene. If you had 2 or 3 detectives, that's what you would need to work that crime scene. So all of the other resources should have been out at businesses around that grub truck, at the nightclub or the bar where the girls were, at the sorority house. You want all of the video footage from inside that sorority house. You want all of the video footage inside the bar. You want everything that surrounds that area where anybody could have been. And that is it. That stuff, and if I had my bleep machine, I'd be using it right now. That's the stuff that you need to have right away. Because if it gets overwritten and now you lose it, now you are up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. You cannot pull that information back out once it gets overwritten. And if it gets overwritten, it's a wrap. But you can't, again, you can't cry over spilt milk. What is this? You can't cry over spilt milk, and you got to move forward. And that's the bottom line. Is what the Moscow Police Department has to do right now is they got to, kick it into high gear. And we hope that behind the scenes, there's a lot more things that are happening than what we know about. Listen, I spent 30 minutes of your time on a work day. I know it's a valuable time in the middle of the day. Sometimes some of you folks are earlier, some of you guys are retired, but I have to get back in and do my full-time job as a director of security. I got to get back in and do my thing. So I want to hope that you guys all will go over to the video for tonight. Give it a thumbs up. You're going to be redirected from here. Thank you, Eric, for the super chat. DutyRon, thanks for the outstanding channel. Idaho borders British Columbia, Canada as well. To what degree does that complicate efforts to trace the car? That again, to get across the border, in most of the Canadian border is pretty secure. If you can just drive into it like the southern border, then we'd have a problem. But I think a lot of the times on the Canadian border, you can't just freely go in and out. I believe that it's pretty secure. So it's a concern, though. It's definitely a concern. So tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Detective Tommy from the Auto Crimes Division is going to come on. We'll talk about the Hyundai Elantra 2011 to 2013. Thank you for that super chat. And thank you to everyone who's here. Nellie B, Janine Dove, who else? Kiki Ray, Dandy's here, Joey Brooklyn, Team Brittany. Thank you for being here. Team Brittany, one of my fellow mods on WFLA now. Thank you, Team Brittany. I just got your email the other day. I'll be in touch with you soon. Karen, Legal Minded Friends, Dawn Marie, my head moderator, along with Joey Brooklyn and Black Rose, one of my really great friends. Pockets Full of Stones, you the best, DutyRon. Thank you. Appreciate it. Listen, white Hyundai Elantras. White is the most popular color of vehicles in the United States. White is the most popular color. So there's a lot of them, right? Katie F is here. Hi, Katie. Who else? I don't want to miss anybody, but I know it's going to be hard. Heather, whatever. Rhonda, hello today. I am watching now. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, and by the way, I'm in the process of mailing. It's in the mail. It's being delivered, I believe, tomorrow. The GoPro. I told you guys I was giving away a GoPro once I hit 150,000 subscribers. The GoPro is going to a family Her husband is fighting cancer. Her husband is having a really hard time, and they have a young son who also is fighting bullying in school and so forth. So he wanted a GoPro for Christmas. They couldn't afford it. I got a very heartwarming email from her and Kristen. That's in process right now. It's on its way to you and your son Cole. I hope you guys enjoy it. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And thank you for being a subscriber. It couldn't have gone to a better family. Again, her husband is fighting a very, very rare form of cancer and going through multiple rounds of chemotherapy and suffering and so forth. And he is a former law enforcement transport officer and is off of the job because of his cancer. So it couldn't have gone to a better family. And I'm so happy to send that. It's en route. It should be delivered tomorrow, and then the second part of it should be delivered on Saturday. But they in their state, they live in South Dakota. They've been getting hit with a lot of snow, so I'm not sure if it's going to be delayed or whatever. But that is where the GoPro went to. That family is in my eyes the best recipient for that. So much love and respect from my house to yours. As I always like to say, listen, and also the 4 Ring Video doorbells, they're also out there. I'm waiting for someone to come and step up and claim them. And it has to be University of Idaho students. So I'm waiting for some of the students to look at the video and maybe get word that, we have 4 of these cameras to send out to them to help them stay safe and secure in their upcoming school, after the break. So I want to get that out there as well. But listen, as I always like to end these, thank you, Gerda. I love you back. Thank you. God bless the world. God bless the United States of America, and God bless each and every one of us here in the chat. And if all families suffering that are victims of crime, the families, they need us now more than ever. Let's send them strength, prayers, and positive vibes. Guys, I'll see you tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up and like this video and share it. I'll see you tonight with our expert, Tommy from Autocrime. Peace and love from DutyRon.